You are looking at Summon Skeleton Guardian that convert physical damage of minions into pure chaos damage, and that result in boss melt like that. And this. This GPU melting with wild skeleton never gets old. Iron Mass Unique Sword allowed to reach really solid skeleton DPS on a low budget, and after that, push 10 million plus shape DPS with some investment. This build scale pure flat added chaos damage, and that type of items is ridiculously underused and really cheap. With Iron Mass Unique, build is getting into melee range. And with Guardian Ascendancy, build can get insane level of defenses, like really easy endurance charges on hit, near permanent fortify effect, life on hit coupled with Cyclone for insane life sustain, and really high attack and spell block chances. So this is the full video guide for Iron Mass Chaos Damage Skeleton Guardian. You know, like chaos, you know. Build basically revolve around Iron Mass Unique Sword that require to hit enemies to gain insane triple DPS buff on skeletons. That is why getting a Resolute Technique Keystone is a really nice idea as starting point of the build. Then, to be sure that build benefit greatly from melee range, take Cyclone as main Iron Mass trigger, then Fortify, Life on hit and faster attacks, and of course notable of Spiritual Command. In this fashion, build already revolve around minion attack speed for both damage and life sustain. And since Iron Mass weapon DPS actually replace DPS scaling of skeletons from gem level, will take full advantage from flat added chaos damage sources. While basic pure physical damage of skeletons is important and nice, chaos damage support with void manipulation support are second to none DPS sources. Obviously build scale flat damage with minion damage support, then build increase hit rate with multi-strike and ruthless. And external flat damage buffs are Carrion Golem that also trigger in turn Feeding Frenzy for even more attack speed. And then the build gets into most underused part of Path of Exile added flat damage scaling sources. I am talking about Envy Aura that you can get from our surprising unique amulet variant. Not a lot of builds are getting benefit from flat added chaos damage, but as you remember, thanks to triple damage effect from Iron Mass, it is actually really nice for this build. And while it can account for almost 30% total damage increase, it is not even required to start playing this build. And the only expensive upgrade that build actually can utilize for 10 million shape DPS mark is Triad Grip Unique Gloves. In particular, for White Socket version to convert 100% of physical minion damage into chaos damage. Yes, can be a bit pricey, but this can be your last purchase. You can try your luck with the Wall Orbs, or you can actually target farm Temple Sacrifice Chamber to get spicy double corrupt and full white sockets at the same time. Also, triple white socket gloves is viable temporary solution with skeletal atrophy notable from Cluster Jewel, and overall, proper Triad Grip Unique Gloves is only around 15% total DPS, while major scaling is achieved from minion attack speed. And speaking of attack speed, the most beneficial buff for the build is Frenzy Charges on Summon Skeletons. And since I just cannot read, I just marked Harmony of Purpose and thought that we are Gucci with the game. But no! Everybody knows that we are in mutually abusive relationship with the Path of Exile. Game breaks your dreams with never-ending loop of reading struggle when you hit that living and breathing wall of fluffy drop beers. NANI? You see, Harmony of Purpose do not affect minions, only party members. Only party members! Why? But well, Harmony of Purposes still have its purpose on the build, more about that later. Right now it is important to get frenzy charges for skeletons, and with melee range, constant hits from the Cyclone, it is really natural just to use Victorious Charge and Unique Shield, no Ray Spectre gem, because well, Ray Spectre even before was not the most pleasant source of the frenzy charges with Frenzy Apes, and right now with the nerfs to the actual minion life from the Ray Spectre, it is not the pleasant experience, especially in the endgame. And the power charges with Victorious Charge would be really rare, but frenzy charges on the skeletons with attack speed of the build would be almost instant once you just hit some monsters. After all that, the next big point for the build are various ways to scale initial damage. To support melee build nature and to automate things just a bit, it is really reasonable to run Blasphemy with Despair Aura. And to continue automation, build run +1 damage taken on level 1 with level 3 Mortal Call for tank, level 7 Desecrate for corpse source, and level 8 Flash Offering for even more attack speed speed for your minions. Also, with automation and visual clarity in mind, build can opt for Holy Relic on Falling with Carrion Golem, Feeding Frenzy and Cooling Strike. That way you can clearly see skeletons affected not only with Holy Relic aura, but with Iron Mass buff as well. And yet another quality of life item is from Dust unique jewel. While counterintuitive, it actually makes a lot of sense when you consider build nature to just always press cycling button. And the next big thing on the build is something that makes build viable in full variety of endgame, from delirium to nasty boss encounters. While I do provide entry level of low budget version with PoB and minimal gear in mind, I also provide endgame version that include full cluster jewel spec and specific upgrades. But even with a low budget version, one medium cluster jewel is really important once you hit your red maps. Blessed Rebirth notable on medium cluster jewel makes life simply better. 4 seconds on minion immunity is more than enough for damage on point, as well as skeleton mid shield up time. And while we are at cluster jewel, there is one rather important cluster jewel trick. Fortress Covenant unique jewel have second to none damage boost, but it have downside of minion receiving extra damage, and it also convert notables that you do not want convert. But thanks to really forward thinking balance of cluster jewels from grinding gear games, any jewel modifier that have area of effect while slotted into the cluster jewel child sockets simply do not work, and build just exploit its way forward with Fortress Covenant slotted into medium cluster jewel socket with all the benefits and no active downsides. With passive tree there are two main versions. Low budget version that stretch all the way to the Eldritch Battery Keystone and get more minion nons on the tree, and the version with one large cluster jewel and Skin of the Lord's unique body armor with built-in Eldritch Battery Keystone. Eldritch Battery is basically main mana management tool, and it's allowed to not only run Blasphemy Despair, but also summon Skitterboards for more damage and chill effect, alongside with the Flesh and Stone for Sand Aura defenses. In most cases build will hit around 300 to 400 energy shield, and with one single rare jewel that give free energy shield on hit, it is more than enough for pure mana management comfort in any way, shape or form in any instance. And with Lord of the Dead notable, Death Attunement notable and Alberon Warpath unique boots, build get up to maximum 10 skeletons. Then Enduring Bond, Grave Pact, Redemption, Righteous Army and Spiritual Command just hit all the right spots of minion damage and minion attack speed. And meanwhile Sanctuary notable with all the major life nodes just make up for great effective HP. And on Ascendancy side build get Radiant Crusade for even more minion attack speed with Onslaught and of course elemental resistances, then Unwavering Crusade to intimidate on hit and of course even more attack speed, Bastion of Hope for more defenses and rather effective stun immunity, and Harmony of Purpose that is quite nice with almost instant frenzy charges for attack speed and of course for more life on hit sustain, and Endurance charges for physical damage mitigation and longer Immortal Call effect from cast when damage taken. And also after level 90 there are two ways of building the build. First way is just full DPS, jewel sockets, and the other way is just bit less DPS and 5 endurance charges. For rare jewels I highly recommend getting Ghastly Abyss jewels with flat physical minion damage, minion chaos damage, minion attack speed and some flat life. And also getting Stygian Vice is also really nice to have that one extra Abyss jewel slot, and don't forget to grab minion taunted hit on one of the Abyss jewels, so build technically can receive 10% of global damage mitigation. And after all that, the actual cluster jewels is the next important min-max focus. While one mandatory medium cluster jewel with Blessed Rebirth can be really cheap, you can get Renewal as the second notable for nice damage buff, and it will be of course the high budget option. For large cluster jewel search for the Renewal first, then search for Call for Slaughter and Vicious Bites. And even with only two notables, with one renewal and one combination of any other minion damage notable, it's still just fine. Just be sure to grab 8 passive cluster jewel. Do not make my literal mistake that I made every single leak where I find this perfect item with the free affixes that I want, I go and buy it and I'm really happy that it was really cheap, then go to my hideout and just like, oh man, I'm total PP guy, I bought 11 cluster jewel. Do not make my mistakes. And for Emerald Anoint, don't forget to get Corruption notable. Yes, literal Corruption? What? Corruption. Corruption notable, and this is actually the best in slow for Withered effect that build actually get from the Iron Mass in the first place. And even in budget version of the build, it's still using skill of the Loyal that give +1 level of all gems. With that in mind, first upgrade that you would like to make are Awakened skill gems, and that way you will get maximum from the simple +1 level modifier. And while Awakened Multi-Strike is totally unreasonable purchase, I managed actually to buy level 5 Awakened added chaos damage for 1 exalted orb. And quick note that level 21 skeletons do actually nothing for damage over level 20, because well, you can remember that Iron Mass actually replaced basic gem DPS scaling with actual weapon DPS. Only benefit is quite a bit of extra minion life, but well, since we are using Blessed Rebirth, it's not so important. With movement utility there are numerous options, but I prefer to monopolize on attack speed with the Lip Slam and faster attack supports. Clean, nice and simple. For rare gear there are not a lot of requirements. Get your flat life, fix your elemental rest and fix your chaos rest, don't forget about that as well. You have all the gear slots for that. And to min-max, get the minion implicit helmet and maybe even minion damage rings from the Delph. And as stated before, build is actually superb league starter. You just can push from the simple physical summon skeletons in Tabula from level 10 to something like tier 16 maps in no time. Personally, I got my Iron Mass set up only around level 80 and I was pushing maps with garbage gear from like Act 5 with my pure physical damage skeletons. This build is really pleasant to upgrade bit by bit. There is no sudden jumps in performance and it slowly gets from simple hey it works to hey it's actually melt bosses. I would be providing some extra gem information in PoB for leveling from the start without any tabulas etc, and as well as the version of the passive tree for every lab trial, as well as 2 endgame versions for the low budget and the version for the higher budget. And while we all wait for 3.14 announcement and actual release, I actually have exciting news for the channel. Now I have my personal Stormfront with the games at nexus.gg/foxy. And well, that means I finally have the support tool way better than Patreon stuff and etc, where you just like, you know,
my mama told me that I'm really nice and I deserve some money, so give me my money.
You know that bull. Actually, this Stormfront where I share the games that I really enjoy, and when you buy those games, not only I get the cut of the actual pie, I also you also support the developer, because developer gets the better cut on this platform than on Steam, for example. And surprise surprise, you actually still get the Steam key, so it's kind of win-win situation where I get my cut for like advertising the games, you know, surprise surprise, actually paid for the work done, and actually developer get better cut, and you actually get the Steam key, and kind of win-win situation. And a really important part about Nexus.gg, it's still evolving and there will be a lot of changes in the future, as well as they trying to bring even more games. So thank you very much for watching. If you still watching, like, you are a really awesome person, and until next time, have a pleasant day.